People become waves over time.
Welcome to the Ripple Effect of Paying It Forward, a podcast brought to you by the African Woman Entrepreneurship Cooperative. Doing good is good for business. Corporations are forced to do good. Women-owned businesses already do good. When one of these businesses grows, the whole community benefits. How do we know? We have measured that for the past 7 years. For every woman who is directly impacted at a work, 10 secondary people, her family, friends, community, and network are positively impacted. These women are creating ripple effects in their communities. Every day, their businesses paid forward through mentorship, building thought leadership, training other women, and launching community initiatives. Join us as we uncover how your pebbles can cause lasting ripples. Mentorship can be a defining factor for entrepreneurs. Studies show that 89% of entrepreneurs wish they had one to help them navigate their often isolating and scary entrepreneurial journey. This conversation will explore how these business relationships has shaped our mentors, their mentees, their biggest lessons learned, and the challenges they've had to navigate together. Whether you're a mentor, a mentee, or considering taking on either role, there is something valuable in this conversation. So, Nobs, what is one of the needs that you've had about mentorship, and how can SMEs find mentors?
Yeah, so I think maybe starting off through the advisory board. So the alumni advisory board, we do have a segment there where we call on mentors. So this would be alums coming forward now to actually pay it forward, to actually take the tips and advice that we got from our mentors and help the alums. Because as we move forward, I think also with COVID-7, as we move forward, people now need to go and do the work in their business and apply, implement, actually grow the business and take it to where it needs to go. And we are all in a position to guide. We are all in a position to support, to advise. And I think also what Kudzai mentioned, I think it's also important to put yourself in spaces where the people you aspire to be, or the people who have certain, it could be characteristics or have built their careers, to a certain level, which inspires you. It's important to network. So I think also mentoring doesn't have to be formal. Mentoring can also be just watching, someone else, watching their career, watching their journey. I think that is very important. So it also means on platforms, maybe that you network on. It could be your LinkedIn, it could be your Instagram, Facebook, depending on your business, to actually follow, those people you aspire to be. So I think that is also part of mentoring, which is informal. And then I think just in general, as businesses, as SMMEs, it's to get ourselves into those spaces and to then reach out even before you just DM a random person who may seem like a stranger, but maybe it could be someone you've been following for such a long time. It could be to go in there with confidence and to actually say, this is maybe a relationship I'd like to start, or advice I'd like you to give me. You are in this space and I see alignment with myself or with my business and you as follows. So I think that is what we need to do. We need to have that courage. So I'm a coach and mentor that's certified in South Africa, but I'd always say I'm like a mechanic. So I'm able to fix other people's cars, but then I struggle with my own. I don't know where to start. And it's been so interesting because I have job descriptions, I have KPIs, I come from HR, so I have the documentation. But then when it comes to your own business, for some reason you go blank. For some reason, you forget the structures and processes that you need to have. And it's then great to have someone who can guide you and remind you of certain things. And I think also what you mentioned about it doesn't need to be someone in your own space. That is very important, because initially I was very confused at why Kudzai is my mentor. I was thinking hospitality, how does it align? And then as I spoke to him, I saw a bigger version of myself through him. I actually saw where my business needs to go, even by just viewing his profile in detail, seeing the spaces that he's worked in, the exposure that he has, the impact that he's made, the experience that he has. And I said, you know what? I need to take my business global. And this is how I get there. I need advice from someone who can actually look into my business with a different eye, to how I've been seeing it, and maybe people in my own industry have been seeing it.
Yeah. I think the myth there is people thinking that you need to be mentored by someone who's in your industry. That's such a big myth. Doris, do you have something that you'd want to add?
Yes. So I was thinking about human nature that says when we experience a good thing, it's only natural that we want to share it. This could be an experience we've had ourselves. I benefited from mentoring when I was about 16. So informally, I've always sort of paid it forward. And she was just sharing the things that she does in her space, and also alluding to the fact that sometimes we have all the plans, all the tools, but we may not be able to apply it to ourselves. So when you bring it to the world of professional coaching, for example, every coach must have a mentor coach and must go for coach supervision. So we make sure that we put ourselves in a position where we get to benefit from the same thing that we are giving to others. So I thought that is something that's important for us to highlight. And then as far as being able to access mentors, I think one important thing that entrepreneurs should do to help them is to have that clarity of purpose. What is it that is making me want to have a mentor? And when you have that clarity of the reason, the vision, the purpose for which you are looking for a mentor, it's very easy to find a mentor, whether it's through a networking platform, whether it's from your customer base, whether it's from a professional group you belong to, whether it's from some other community that you belong to. When you have that clarity of your purpose, it's pretty easy. And the second thing I would mention is also the importance of solving a real problem. When you are addressing a real need in the world that people will latch on to patronize because it becomes a solution for them, it's easy for you to attract both the people that are going to patronize and consume your product and those that want to contribute to the success of that solution that you are bringing to the world. And that way it becomes very easy when you approach the people you are attracting to say, this is how I would appreciate your support to get to my next level.
Sure. Thank you. Mame, do you want to add something?
Yes, every month on NovaEd, we had to go online and sort of share our experiences through a survey. And one of the things that we had to tick was what was the most relevant for you? Was the pre-reads, was it a live session, and which one was the most challenging? I think they forgot to add the mentoring session. But that was work, because every month I had to meet and I was like, okay, I'm going to meet Doris, I have to prepare, have I done my homework? These things that she asked me to action, have I actually done it? So for me, on my timesheet audits, there was always a time that I put to do the things that we talked about, because I know her. She will come and check on me. And I want to be an A student. I want to make sure I'm doing my work.
And she was an A student.
And doing the things that I'm supposed to be doing. At the end of the day, actually helping my business grow from wherever I started from. And so what I want to add is, I think for a mentee, you need to be extremely vulnerable. So for me, if I was stressed, I took it there, to those sessions, to those meetings. If I had personal issues, I took it there. There were things that she shared with me that I benefited from, and there were things that I helped her with. So I feel like it's always a give and take.
Yeah.
But a lot of times we meet people and we feel like, and with our entrepreneur thinking comes, oh, we have to get money, we have to get funding, we're looking for this, we're looking for that. I've met someone who is now an HR director um, at a very big global company who wanted to fund my business 4 years ago, and I turned it down because I wanted her to mentor me. I had seen her on platforms and I loved her leadership style, and I wanted to get better as a leader because I thought that was important for my business as well. So I wasn't quick and eager. I didn't think I needed the funding at that time for my business, but I thought I would benefit from her leadership experience. So I made myself available to her. We had conversations. I visited her office. She took me through a few things which were really, really, really helpful. So I feel like when we have those opportunities and we are on the platforms and we're sending the DMs and the messages, it's about what value can I also give and how vulnerable can I also get to get the most out of that experience, because it has to be a give and take. Yeah, it always has to be a give and take.
Yes. Yeah, that brings me to the next part of the question that I'm about to ask, because you realize mentorship is a relationship, and most people, of course, want to just take, and they have nothing to give, or they have a mentor and they don't know where to start or what to do with the mentor. If the mentor does not respond, they probably take it personal and all that. So I'd want each of you to share a tip on how to make the mentor-mentee relationship thrive. What is the one thing that you think when a mentor or a mentee does this, then the relationship thrives and the mentor and the mentee is able to get the most out of it?
Do you agree? I feel like the first thing you have to remember is that the person on the other side of the table, of the line, is also a human being. They're real people. They have challenges. They go through bad days. They have their highs. They have their lows. They are also building real businesses, right? So like I said before, if you want to benefit from that relationship, how can you also help them? What are you learning about their businesses? Do you just come in and say and just offload all your problems to them? For us, a lot of what we did at the beginning, we would spend like 30 minutes. What is going on? How are you? Like, really, how are you? What is happening with your family? How is this person? And she's gotten to know my family beyond my business, so many things. And it makes that relationship very authentic. It doesn't feel forced. It doesn't feel like, okay, she's going to do this. And at the end of the 1 year AWare program, she's done. I feel like we have a relationship even after this. I'm sure, I don't know whether she'll fight us.
Yes. No.
She wouldn't. Doris is amazing. I think she's the best mentor I've had. But you benefit so immensely when you approach it that way, that the person is also a human being and they have their own challenges, and you genuinely are interested in growing them as much as they are going to grow you.
I'll share a quick example.
Yes.
So I had recently become credentialed as a PCC level coach, and I needed to post it on LinkedIn. And I like to focus on areas that are really fast and swift for me to do. And I love to leverage my strength, and I'm not afraid to call for help leaning on the strengths of others. She has the strength when it comes to marketing communication. So we're just having a session, and this is referring to the value you gain in reverse mentoring. So it just dawned on me, and I asked her, I have this to do. Within a few minutes, something that I had been thinking about for days, it was done. And I just did a little tweaking and I posted it where I needed it. So when you talk about, and I just said now we are friends because we graduate to that other level where we feel more relaxed to do this kind of reverse exchange thing in a way that supports each one of us. Talking about what contributes to having a rich and meaningful mentoring experience. This is an example of what she shared. I want to talk about the importance of being open-minded and non-judgmental. We are different human beings, and I may say, come, or use a different expression. What I mean versus what it might mean to you could be different. So we should delay judgment during the mentoring relationship and exercise a lot of curiosity. Yeah, open-minded. This thing you put on the table, what did you really mean by that? So that the person gets the opportunity to explain to you. That way you both live with the understanding that is intended. Otherwise, there could be situations and instances that you take personally, or that you go and implement and it's even different from what was being given to you. And when the results come and they are different from what you anticipated, you might point accusing fingers, but it was because you didn't have clarity, because you were not open-minded. You came in there with your own ideas, and not being open-minded also means that you are not able to even fully absorb what is being shared during the time of mentoring. You are not able to clarify, and you end up leaving the session with conclusions that may actually be wrong, that could be damaging. So it's important that we come with that open mind, open field, clarify, don't judge, not what is coming. Be very slow as much as possible to jump to conclusions during the mentoring. And I think you would have a very rich relationship. When we talk about judgment, ideas could be in the area of biases. You are just beginning to build a relationship. You see something about them, they are late for a session, and you jump to conclusions and you judge them, and it begins to mar, Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Nobs.
I think for me, I'd actually like to give advice to future cohorts. So something that keeps popping up is mentees who are frustrated that their mentors aren't reaching out to them and the mentors aren't doing this and that and that. So the advice I give to those people and that I want to give is just a reminder that as a mentee, you need to drive that relationship. So you need to drive that relationship. You need to respect the time of your mentor as well. So if they say, I'm available for 10 minutes or I'm available on that date, or they take a week or a day or an hour to respond, respect that, because it is their time that they're giving you. Their time, it's their experience, it's everything that they're giving you. I had a conversation with someone yesterday who was very frustrated at their mentor because the mentor doesn't reach out to them. So I then asked her, have you been reaching out? Oh, but why must I reach out? I'm mentee. I'm not a mentor. So I said, you are the one who needs guidance. You are the one who needs support. You are the one who's trying to grow your business. So it's up to you to actually drive that relationship and build that relationship.
Thank you. Kudzai.
Yeah, I think the ladies have really truly said it all. I think, yes, two things I'd say. Mentor relationships are mentee led, and that's always important. And that is the language we use in AWAC, and that is the language that we believe in very much. Mentee mentor relationships are mentee led. So you as the mentee have got to lead that relationship. A small piece of advice I'd give you: majority of the mentors we have, particularly in AWAC and in other areas, are typically C-suite level, which means that these, majority of us work on scheduling pretty well. The first couple of calls, say to your mentee, is it okay if we schedule calls? If it's going to be once every month, once every 6, is it okay if I send you a calendar invite? Usually once you block space in that person's calendar, you own that space.
Yes.
And we respect our calendars. So you've got to also take time to understand how the other person works. And you find that, and they might say to you, okay, I'm going to give you my PA's number and book the sessions through my PA. Don't feel offended. They're giving you a way that works for them. So I think that's very important. The second thing away from AWAC that I would say is that, everyone treats mentorship relationships like you must be my mentor for life. And someone can be a mentor for a problem, which is once off. They can be a mentor for a season, which is short term. And every so often they can be a mentor for a lifetime. And the mentors you need at a certain stage, you may not need at the next stage. And I'll give you a very small example. I have an older cousin who broke away from extremely high corporate position, went to do into entrepreneurship maybe 7-8 years ago, and he's done well. And there was a point when I was making that transition, and I knew he was the only person I could talk to. There was no one else who could understand fundamentally what my challenges were and how I could get to the next level. And we had an 1.5 hour call, which did not necessarily need to have a follow-up call. But what he did, the rest, I think, like Nob said, is then I watch him a lot. I watch a lot of what he does, and I watch a lot of how he handles, how he makes certain decisions. But all I needed was an 1.5 hour call. I think sometimes as mentees, don't also intimidate potential mentors by saying, I want a lifetime mentor. And just say, do you have, 20 minutes for a call? I want to pick your brain on something. People will make themselves available for that sooner than they will say, let me sign up to be your mentor for the next 150 years. So
Thank you very much. Such a good note to end it. And it's been a very amazing, fantastic, enriching conversation that we have had. I've really enjoyed listening to all of your great advice and the lessons that you've picked along the way. And I hope that anyone who gets to watch this is going to learn, and most importantly, to take action immediately. You don't have to wait until tomorrow or 2 weeks. If there's something that has really stood out from this conversation, is that you need to be vulnerable, you need to drive the conversation, you need to be open-minded, and you need to take action on the advice that you receive. So thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. It's been amazing to have you around.